All right. So we are going to do a little bit of a detox right now. So let me introduce to you our next speaker, which is Josh Farris, and he is going to take us through how to detox the right way for gut health. This is really, really important because we know your gut and your skin are friends and they talk to each other all of the time. So I cannot wait to hear. So Josh is a health coach and an expert in gut health whose practice is based on simple, all natural, and holistic healing methods that will help you achieve your health goals. Josh's personal health issues with gut inflammation and digestion led to him becoming a health coach. So we are learning from one of the best, and he's talking to us from experience. So welcome, Josh.
Hey, Jacqueline.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am doing amazing. I am ready for this talk all about detoxing. And I'm letting everybody know too, you're going to do an amazing detox shot. So you got the recipe. Make sure that you have your ingredients all together because we're all going to make this shot with Josh as well during this session. So you can take it away, Josh.
Fantastic. Well, let's get started on this thing today. So this is an honor to be here today from Image. Image had reached out to me to do a little session here. So this is a little bit different for me. I've never done anything for skin health and things like that. But the amazing thing is today I want to speak to you guys on exactly what your skin health has to do with your gut and your lymphatic system. And that's a system that's really highly overlooked. But today we're just going to talk about how to detox the right way for your gut health. We're going to discuss kind of some ins and some outs of why detoxing, why we need to detox in the first place, and exactly what that does for the body and exactly what that does for the skin. And I just want to bring some clarity to that because there's a lot of misinformation out there nowadays. There's a lot of information on the internet and everybody tends to be an expert. So I want to try to, clear some things up to help as many people as possible because I like simple. I like to keep things as simple as possible. I like to keep things easy as possible because if things are really complicated, most people don't want to do them. And who's got time to do really, complicated things? So I want to keep things simple for you guys today. I want to make everything really simple, really easy to be able to do this. So we'll jump right into it. And I'm a fast talker, so I talk fast. So you guys, you may want to take some notes, and then we can kind of get together at the end of this, and we can figure out, if you guys have any questions as far as that goes. So we can go to the next slide. So I just want to kind of introduce myself to you guys and kind of let you guys know who I am. My name is Josh Farris. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I'm a health coach, and I'm a detox specialist. I kind of got into this field about 10 years ago. I had a lot of health issues. I was living, kind of the typical, way that, most Americans live. And I had some health issues that came up that I couldn't get rid of. And I went to a lot of doctors and they were telling me that I was going to have to do this and be on medications and do that. And I just didn't really like where that sat with me. I didn't really like having to, necessarily take medications for the rest of my life. Not that they don't have their place, but I just didn't really feel that that was what I needed at the time. So that's really where my health journey started kind of experimenting, with some things. I was actually in college at the time. So I started, I switched my major around and actually started going, learning about that, wound up getting a degree in biology with an emphasis on nutrition. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've been, helping people, been learning. I've been doing a lot of this, this has been my passion. This is one of the things that, really fires me up. It's really what gets me up and gets me going. So I'm on TikTok and I'm on Instagram as well. So I put out a lot of free content on both platforms. I do a lot of things, on detoxification. I'm really into detoxification lately because I understand how what it needs to do for the body, and how it will lead to optimal health. And most people don't know how to detox. That's what I put a lot of information out on that right now. So that's really what my channels are filled up with. but that's who I am. And my goal is to reach as many people as possible and make things simple as possible. And that's why I leverage my social media platforms to do that, is because it gets such an outreach. And that's what I do on my platform. So if you guys are interested, want to see any more of my information, and if you like what I'm speaking here today, I put most of this stuff out. It's free. Most of this stuff is free. It's on my Instagram and it's on my TikTok as well. So if you guys want to check me out, you can go there. We can go to the next slide. Today, what I want to talk about is I want to keep it really simple. And this conversation can go really, really deep. We can have a really in-depth conversation, but I want to try to keep it as simple as possible and keep this as easy as possible for everybody. What I want to do is just kind of discuss the gut. What is the gut? What is, a lot of that word is thrown. We're going to discuss the gut health and exactly what is, exactly what the gut is. It's a word that's thrown around a lot. And we're going to discuss exactly what is the gut. What does the gut do? We're going to also talk about your lymphatic system. Got a message that says I froze. Am I good? Are we good, guys?
Josh, it's Jacqueline. You're good now.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I apologize, guys. We have a thunderstorm going on here and we got power flickering in and out. I apologize.
No worries. We're enthralled.
All right. So we want to talk about the lymphatic system. A lot of people, it's one of the most overlooked systems. Most people don't even know about the lymphatic system. They've heard about it, but they don't know very much about it. I'm going to tell you why it's one of the most important systems actually of the body. We're also going to talk about, what's actually damaging the gut. We hear about the gut, we hear about gut health, and we hear about probiotics and all these different things, but we're going to talk about what's actually damaging the gut. How do we do that? How do we damage the gut, and how do we do the things that don't damage the gut? We're also going to discuss detoxing, detoxification. We got all these toxins and things coming in the body. Well, we've got to get them out. So we're going to talk about how do we detox the gut so we can, get these things and these things that are destroying the gut and, causing us issues outside the gut. And then we're going to talk about things that actually promote good gut health. We're going to talk about things that are going to be good for your gut health and that are going to be, beneficial for your body. So we're going to jump into this thing. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. So we can go to the next slide. All right. So in this section, basically, we're going to talk about exactly what is the gut. Now, for time's sake, we can have a really in-depth conversation here. But for time's sake, your gut is going to basically be comprised of, a lot of different things. But basically, we're going to say everything from the stomach down to the small intestine, to the large intestine. There's a whole lot more to the gut than that. But that's what most people, what we're going to talk about today. These areas of the gut and the stomach, the intestines, and that's basically where we're gonna keep it simple there today. And in this area, basically, your food goes into your stomach, and then it goes into the small intestine, then goes into the large intestine after that for elimination. And in this process, you've got what we call bacteria, gut microbes, microbiome. And in this gut microbiome, these little bugs and this little gut diverse microbiome is spread throughout, your stomach. It goes into your small intestine and even down into the large intestine. And this microbiome is made up of bacteria. It's made up of some viruses. It's actually made up of, different kinds of when we say fungus, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, but, funguses, it's made up of different things, different organs and organs, or it's made up of different, organisms inside that tract that make up your gut microbiome. So what we've got to do, what these things do actually is they're actually there to help us. They're actually there in the stomach. They're in the small intestine. They're in the large intestine to help us, break down our food. They're there to, fight off invaders, foreign invaders, different types of bacteria. The gut does a whole lot of different things. It's actually a really complex system. And that's why, a lot of people don't know exactly how it works. And we're still learning with modern science actually how the gut works. And we're starting, with modern science now to kind of start figuring out, the things about the gut. But the gut, your microbiome is basically through your stomach into your small intestine and into your large intestine there. There's a lot of things that go on there. A lot of your immune system is actually inside the gut. They say 70 to 80% of your immune system is actually inside the gut. That's why it's really important to keep it healthy. And those that your gut microbiome, the good beneficial bacteria in your gut, they have a lot to do with your immune system. And if you get a population of I guess the non-beneficial gut bacteria, the bad guys, they're not necessarily bad guys because everything is there in the gut for a reason. But if you get more of the bad guys, you're going to have what we call dysbiosis. And dysbiosis is basically when you have more bad guys than good. And what happens is these bad guys, what they will do is they will take over the role, and they are overpopulating the good guys. And what they will do is they'll start taking your food. They'll start taking your nutrients. They will start, eating your food and basically doing things inside your body that cause inflammation. So you want to keep your gut microbiome at a good level. You want to have more good guys than bad guys. So when you get more bad guys, that's called dysbiosis. So a lot of issues can come from that. A lot of neurotransmitters are made in the gut. Most people don't know this. They say somewhere, again, about 70 to 80% of your neurotransmitters in your body are actually made inside the gut. Serotonin, your happy, your feel good chemicals, your GABA. There's a lot of different, neurotransmitters that are actually made inside the gut. So it's very, very important that we keep our gut in good health, because if our gut's, inflamed, if we've got more bad guys than good guys, a lot of times, that will affect, anxiety. It can affect depression. It can affect a lot of different, mental diseases that we have now. So, the gut is vitally important, for our brain and our mental health as well. There is a direct, I heard Georgia talk about earlier that there is a direct connection between your gut and your brain. There's a direct connection there, and there's a lot that's going on, and science is still figuring out a lot of different things about that, but there's a direct connection there, meaning, what's going on in the gut sends a signal to the brain, and what's going on in the brain sends a signal to the gut. So they're directly connected. So you got to make sure that both are functioning and working correctly if you want optimal health. If you want to feel good, you want to make sure that the gut is in, good shape. If if you want to, help with anxiety and depression and things like that, you want to for sure make sure that your gut is doing everything that it can. Same way with the brain. So they send signals back and forth to each other, and that's something that modern science has actually come up with. And we're going to talk about exactly the things that we can do to promote this health in these next couple of slides. So we can go to the next slide. Right. Another part of the gut is actually your lymphatic system. A lot of people a lot of people don't even really know exactly what the lymphatic system is. The lymphatic system is a system throughout your body. It's tubes and lymph nodes, and there's a lot of different, science, jargon that we can talk about here, but it's a lot of different things throughout the body that helps get toxins out of the body, mucus, acids, and things like that actually outside the body. So this is a direct correlation with the gut, because there's a lot of what we call gut-associated lymphatic tissue. This means that the lymphatic system has a lot to do with your gut. So if the gut is inflamed, your lymphatic system is not going to flow correctly. And remember, I like to say that the lymphatic system is the sewer system of the body. And this is pretty interesting here. And we're going to go really deep on, not really deep, but I'm going to tell you guys some really interesting stuff about the lymphatic system and actually your skin health. But the lymphatic system is considered the sewer system of the body. So think about the sewer system of your house. When you wash your hands, the wastewater goes down into the pipes. It goes outside the house. Everything is good. But what happens when your lymphatic, or when your sewer system of your house backs up? Well, those pipes, they either get stopped up or they break or something. And what happens is when you wash your hands, now you got that wastewater inside the house. Now you've got the dishwater inside the house. Now the washing machine doesn't wash. Now you've got all these things. The waste can't get outside the house. And that's what the lymphatic system does. The lymphatic system is vitally important for gut health, because it's kind of what flushes the sewage outside the body. Your body creates a lot of, waste products through cellular metabolism and cellular waste. And what the lymphatic system is designed to get rid of that. Well, if the lymphatic system gets backed up because the gut is inflamed and it can't actually go through its processes, what will happen is the lymphatic system will back up. And now now we've got chemicals, now we've got, acids, now we've got a lot of things floating around inside the body causing, disease and causing, kind of issues because the lymphatic system is backed up. So there's a direct correlation with gut health and with your lymphatic system. So it's very, very important to keep both going, but it's very important to keep your gut health going so that your lymphatic, can drain like it's supposed to. Because a lot of the places that your lymphatic fluid actually drains is going to be in the gut and in the intestines and in the kidneys and things like that. So it's basically, remember, the lymphatic system is the trash system of the body. It's the sewer system of the body. There is a direct connection. Here is something really interesting. There's a direct connection with your skin and your gut health, the gut health and the lymphatic system. So a lot of times what will happen is if your gut if it's very inflamed and it's not working correctly, and you've got dysbiosis, which a lot of people have nowadays due to the foods that we're consuming and a lot of the different poisons and chemicals that we're consuming through our diet. What it does is it causes your gut to be inflamed. Now the lymphatic system cannot get the sewage outside the body. It can't get the waste actually outside the body. So what happens is your body's very smart. It's very, very intelligent. God designed it with precision. And your skin is actually considered your third kidney. You've got two kidneys, but you've got what we consider the third kidney, which is your skin. So what happens is if your gut is in shambles and it's, inflamed and it's not, feeling good and, the lymphatic system is not flowing because the gut is inflamed, what will happen is the body is so intelligent that stuff will come out of the skin. To get this waste and this stuff will actually come out of the skin through sweat, through different oil glands, different things through the skin, and that's very vitally important when it comes down to skin health. So I know Image is extremely big on having good skin health and having vibrant skin and having wonderful skin. Well, what can affect that the skin is actually having a backed up lymphatic system due to gut health. So it's vitally important that we keep the gut in working order so that the lymph can move correctly. So the lymphatic fluid will actually go out through the kidneys and will go out through, waste, will go out through the gut like it's supposed to, instead of backing up and going outside the body, because the body's very smart. It can't have all this stuff, backed up inside the body. So it's got to go out somewhere. So the skin is going to be the third kidney. So that's typically where it'll go out. So that is extremely important. That's what a lot of people don't understand and what a lot of people don't know. I went to school for a long time. I had to actually learn this the hard way and learn this myself. I went to school for a long time, and never in my biology, degree did anybody ever teach us that, the lymphatic system is extremely important for skin health, or that the liver is good for skin health, or the gut is, really critical for skin health. We weren't necessarily taught that in school. So I kind of had to learn that the hard way, working with some, holistic doctors and some practitioners and physicians and things like that over the years. So there is a direct connection between your skin, your lymphatic system, and your gut health. Everything goes back to gut health, my friends. Everything goes back to the gut health. The gut is the most important thing, one of the most important systems of the body. The Socrates, which a lot of people consider the father of modern medicine, or the father of medicine, said, way back many, many, many years ago, when he was actually practicing and doing his his thing, that when you fix the gut, you'll fix the rest of the body. So if you're having issues with the rest of the body, you need to look at your gut health. 9 times out of 10, there's an issue there. So there is a connection. So if you're having issues with the gut and skin, there's a connection there with the gut health as well. So we'll go to the next slide. So what we need to do is we need to look at the things that are going to damage the gut. There's a lot of things, that we get in our modern diet. The modern, the standard American diet and the modern diet is, we are for convenience. We're giving up, quality foods for convenience. So nowadays everybody's stressed. Everybody's, trying to catch a quick meal. Everybody's wanting to go through the drive-through just because life is chaotic. Life is hectic for everybody. But what we're doing is, when we do these things, we are sacrificing our health for convenience. That's what's happening, because the reason that these things are convenient and they stay in these packages for a long time is they've got to add, things that are not necessarily good for our bodies, chemicals and toxins and, different things are contributing to, our bad gut health. And when you eat these things, when you, eat the standard American diet, when you take, a lot of the drugs and a lot of the things that, have been shown scientifically to disrupt the gut, you are giving up, you're basically, you're trading your health for, convenience. I'm not saying that, that drugs are never necessarily, that they're never, they do have their place, but a lot of times what we see today is that they are overprescribed. There's a lot of overprescription. So a lot of things like toxins and poisons, medications, one of the worst things, for the gut microbiome. And I experienced this firsthand. This is where I actually started. Was I had such terrible gut issues about 10 years ago. I had to figure out how to rebuild my own gut, because the doctors weren't really helping me. They were just wanting to prescribe me more medications. And at the time that was fine, but it wasn't really helping me get, to the root of the problem. It was just kind of putting a Band-Aid on. And the thing that I experienced, growing up is, antibiotics. I had a lot of antibiotics. I took antibiotics. Well, antibiotics are phenomenal, for modern medicine. They're definitely a lifesaver. But in my opinion, a lot of other people's opinion, they are overprescribed. And what can happen is when you take antibiotics, they destroy everything. That's what they do. Antibiotics is basically destroying your gut microbiome. Well, when you destroy the good and the bad of the gut microbiome, it's just like a garden. Guess what grows back first? When you till up a garden and get ready, guess what grows back first? It's weeds. So think of the weeds like the bad guys. So that's what's, causing, when you take antibiotics, basically the weeds are going to be the first thing to come back. So the bad guys are going to be the first one to repopulate. Then you're going to have what we call dysbiosis. You're going to have a lot of issues. And then you're going to have, these things, these to tie this in, these bad guys they basically, they've got to eat as well. They've got to basically, in simpler terms, they've got to eat and they got to poop as well. And what happens is when they eat your food, they've got to poop. Well, this toxins go throughout your body, and a lot of the times it comes out your skin. So a lot of women, have issues with the skin. They have, different types of acne. They have different types of things that come out of the skin. Men as well, but especially, women pay attention to their skin health way more than men do. And the bad guys basically contribute to that. So we've got to be careful, when we use antibiotics. I'm not saying that they don't have their place, because they do, but sometimes we just got to be careful about the toxins and the poisons. Poisons, contribute as well. A lot of the foods that we have they have things that they add to the food to keep them shelf stable. Well, that's not necessarily good for our health. It's good for the food. It's good for the companies that are making it, because it sits on the shelf longer, but it's not necessarily good for our bodies, because science is now showing us that a lot of these poisons, or a lot of these, additives and chemicals that they put in the food, are actually destroying our gut. That's one of the worst things. The standard American diet is one of the worst things that we can do for our gut health right now. It's just the toxins and the poisons and everything that we're getting from that, contribute to, the killing and the growth of the bad guys. Another thing is the food, the foods that we're eating, fried foods, Coca-Cola, sugar, donuts, all the foods that are absolutely delicious to eat. These things have been shown to, typically feed the bad guys and kill the good guys. And when that happens, as we know, we get, conditions like Crohn's disease, IBS, IBD, ulcerative colitis, all the different, gut issues that we see that are running, rampant now in our society. A lot of that comes from the food that we eat. My life changed once I changed my diet. Once I quit, putting in so much junk and started eating more, what I like to call whole foods, my life changed, my skin health changed, my gut changed, my thinking changed, the way I felt changed. So we've got to be careful what we're putting into our diet. We've got to minimize, the stuff, when we put in acidic foods into the diet, acids, break things down. Acids will, bad acids will kill things inside the gut. So we've got to be careful with the foods that we're eating and all the things that we're actually putting inside our body. The next biggest thing, and I know everybody here has this trouble, because every one of my clients that I talk to, everybody that, I speak on, everybody that I speak to, they have this trouble. And one of the biggest reasons for gut dysbiosis and gut issues Stress every single time will destroy the gut, because there's a lot of different reasons why. But the body cannot produce the neurotransmitters that it needs to when you are in stress. So guess what? Now these things, and now the gut microbiome is not producing the things that it needs to, because you're stressed. Your stress hormones, your cortisol is through the roof. Your other stress hormones are through the roof, causing your gut microbiome not to function correctly. So that's a trickle down effect. Now, since your gut microbiome doesn't work correctly, that's going to add more cortisol to the thing. You're going to be even more stressed, and it's a chain cycle that just never stops. So we've got to do things that are going to be really conducive to the stress. The two ladies that spoke before me, Georgia and Asia, both had some phenomenal things to say about making sure, managing stress. Stress is one of the biggest, problems in our society. Being mindful, meditating, that's ways to mitigate stress, breathing techniques and things like that, slowing down. Those things are vital. We gloss over that a lot of the time, and we want to take a pill and we want to take a supplement for that. But we can do things such as simply, just slowing down, breathing, meditation. It's all free. All that stuff is very free. Grounding, getting your feet on the ground outside, breathing, just taking in, the air, just taking time just to not think about so much. Stress is so impactful on the gut health. So to optimize and get optimal gut health, you've got to figure out ways to, to be able to de-stress, and ways to be able to, get the stress out of your life. We can't have a stress-free life, but we can definitely, minimize stress to the best of our abilities. Next slide. So now we know what's kind of destroying the gut. We know things that, we know the things that are, absolutely, having issues that are causing issues in the gut. Candida overgrowth can cause issues in the gut. Certain types of chemicals, there is a chemical, now it's called glyphosate. Everybody probably knows it as Roundup. Is being sprayed on a lot of our, a lot on our wheat. It's being sprayed on our soybeans. It's being sprayed on a lot of foods that, we consume on a daily basis. And what happens is this stuff goes into our body when we eat it, and it absolutely destroys the gut. So these chemicals are destroying guts. Heavy metals are a massive thing. And that's what my work right now is really focused on, is detoxing heavy metals. Heavy metals like mercury, lead, aluminum, cadmium, strontium, barium, a lot of these different things that we didn't used to have, 50 to 100 years ago, are now showing up in our diet. They're now showing up in hair mineral analysis tests. They're showing up in our urine. Science says, now that, I think it's 90% of people have what would be considered, heavy metal poisoning. And that's a lot, that's 9 out of 10 people. So heavy metals, get in the gut and cause, the bad guys to grow. It kills the good guys. So we got to really be careful about with the heavy metals. Toxins, different types of toxins, aflatoxins, different types of things, get inside the gut and destroy that. Mucus is another thing. This is a big one. Mucus is a massive issue when it comes to gut health, because what happens is when our bodies eat acidic foods, our bodies are very smart. Acids, think about acids. When think about, back to chemistry class, acids, break things down. So what happens is, if you're eating something, a really acidic diet, or you're eating something that turns metabolically acidic in the body, as it goes through the body, it's going to be very acidic, and it's going to start burning the body. Well, the body's going to be very smart. So it's going to create mucus to kind of try to put out some of that acidic flame, so it doesn't damage the body as it goes through. Well, what happens is this mucus sometimes gets caught up in the small intestine. It gets caught up in the large intestine in what we call mucoid plaque. If you eat a lot of dairy, if you eat a whole lot of conventional meats and, grains and stuff like that, a lot of the times people see, as, doing colonoscopies and things like that, that this mucoid plaque, is inside the intestines, and it causes an issue. Bacteria like to hide here. Heavy metals like to get in there and stay inside there. This mucoid plaque, causes your body not to be able to absorb nutrients. Mucoid plaque is a huge thing when it comes to gut health. The next thing is parasites. 90% of Americans have some form of parasites of some sort. They have some form of parasites of some sort. And that doesn't necessarily mean worms. Candida can be a parasite. Different things can be considered a parasite. So we've got to make sure that we're keeping our parasites under control. And here's some good things. These are all the bad things. The good thing are, guys, are there are some, easy ways that, everyday common people can do. And here's a couple ways to, to detox the gut. Zeolites. Zeolites are basically it's volcanic ash in a nutshell is what it is. And basically they're very good at basically grabbing heavy metals, chemicals, toxins, mucus, bad bacteria, and grabbing that stuff and taking it outside the body. There's liquid sprays. You can get it in the powder form. I always recommend the liquid sprays when it comes down to zeolites. But zeolites, phenomenal as far as a way to detox, and help to heal the gut and get all of these things here, outside the body. The next thing is, one of my favorite ways is fruit. Fruit has been used for centuries and thousands of years to, help heal the body. Nowadays, most people, for breakfast, we're eating, sausage, eggs, bacon, biscuits, pancakes, waffles, and things like that. We're not putting in as much fruit. Fruit is very detoxing. Fruit is actually antibacterial, antimicrobial. It promotes the good guys, in the gut. So fruit is, it has a lot of fiber. Fruit is one of the best things that you can do to promote good gut health. It feeds the good guys. It kills, a lot of the bad guys. It's got a lot of fiber that moves it through the body, and fiber is very important for gut health. So fruit, that's just a simple thing. Everybody can incorporate more fruit. You can do a fruit meal, skip basically, instead of eating sausage, eggs, and, bacon for breakfast, have grapefruits, have, some lemons, have you some apples, have just whatever it is. That's just a simple way that you can, help detox the gut. Another thing is parasites, a parasite detox. Like I said, everybody has parasites, especially if you live with animals, cats, dogs in the house. We have some form of parasites, and some parasites are actually good for the body. The parasites are there for a reason most of the time, but there are some worms, there are some things like candida, there are some things that, if you get too many parasites, they can actually be detrimental to the body, detrimental to the gut. So, wormwood, a parasite detox, wormwood, clove bud, black walnut hull, Paul Diarco, neem oil, all those things are very vital and very important, to help, detox these parasites that start overgrowing inside the body. Another good thing, like I named a lot of herbs. Another good thing is going to be herbs for the body, herbs, for cleansing the gut. I love herbs. That's one of my favorite things. I feel like God put herbs here on the earth for us to heal our bodies. And Socrates, one of my favorite people of all time, used herbs. He was a very big herbalist, and I think herbs are very vital to detoxing the gut. Herbs such as gentian root, burdock root, poke root, you can take those and make those into a tea daily, and you can drink those on a daily basis, a couple times a day, and that will help cleanse out the body. You want to use herbs to cleanse the body, and herbs will definitely cleanse the body if you do it on a daily basis, combined with a good diet and things like that. But I love herbs. I take herbs, every single day. I think it's a vital thing. And I think if everybody would just take some herbs, different types of herbs for different things, you would see a vast, amount of, good gut health just from, simply just taking herbs. So it's vitally important to detox. We have all these things, that are destroying the gut. It's very important, that these things are coming in at an alarming rate, and our bodies, our lymphatic system can't keep up because it's coming in from the food we eat, from the air we breathe, from the, the water we drink. We have all these toxins and poisons and heavy metals from different areas, and they're coming in so fast that the body can't get rid of it. So that's why, as a detox specialist, these are some of the ways that I, help my clients, detox, really fast, and to be able to keep up with, the inflow of these toxins coming in from every different direction. So, you got to just make sure and, keep up with the detoxing, for optimal gut health. Next slide. So it's vitally important that we put in good foods for gut. Now we know, we saw a lot of the different things, fast foods, packaged foods, things like that. Fast foods and packaged foods are, typically have chemicals in them. Not all the time, but that kind of stuff, we want to limit that stuff. So for instance, let's take the grocery store. You go in the grocery store, you want to stick to the outside of the grocery store. I know you guys have probably all heard this before, but if you notice, typically the fruits, the vegetables, they're on the outside, or they got their own little section, in a corner or whatever. They're on the outside of the grocery store. Not a huge fan of milk, but milk is on the outside. The meats are on the outside. The whole foods are typically going to be on the outside. And in the middle is you're going to have your cereals, you're going to have your donuts, you're going to have, all the different things that are not necessarily good for the body. So when you're at the grocery store, try to stay on the outside. I'm not saying don't ever go on the inside, but these foods, a lot of these foods are going to, be found on the outside. We got to put in good things, vegetables, always try to go organic when possible, because we do know that conventionally grown produce, fruits and vegetables tend to have, more pesticides. More pesticides equals worse gut health. So we want to try to go organic when possible. But I would rather you eat, like I tell all my clients, I would rather you eat, conventional vegetables than to not eat any at all. So, try to eat, organic vegetables, organic fruits. That's a good way to promote good gut health and to detoxify. Here's the next big thing. Here's what a lot of my clients, and, myself included, have an issue with: caffeine. Caffeine is actually really, I know that there are scientific, some scientific evidence that say caffeine is, good for certain areas of the body. And to some degree, that is probably true. But nowadays, we're so stressed, we're drinking massive amounts of caffeines and Red Bulls and Cokes and all these other things. Caffeine, can have a negative effect on the gut because it creates a lot of acid. It's very acidic on the body. And remember, acids destroy and, they're not good for the gut health, cause a lot of inflammation. So try to, cut down on the caffeine a little bit. If you're going to do meats, which, I don't have any problem, with people, eating meats and things like that, try to go with organic grass-fed meats, because we know, conventionally grown, just like with produce, a lot of the things are not necessarily, the things that they have inside the meats are not necessarily good for the body. So just be careful, try to go with organic grass-fed meat whenever possible. Some, as far as like some supplements, L-glutamine, you can get it in a powder. L-glutamine, helps with inflammation. It helps rebuild the gut. It helps rebuild the gut lining. So drinking L-glutamine, in a shake every day, or even if you're doing coffee or whatever, perfectly fine. Herbs, like I mentioned earlier, gentian root, burdock root, Paw d'Arco. There's a lot of different herbs and things that you can take for the gut. Probiotics. Everybody knows about probiotics. Now that's a hot topic, I know Georgia was talking about probiotics earlier. Probiotics are vital for the gut. I like natural probiotics myself personally, like sauerkraut, kimchi, things like that. That's what, I prefer. Myself, let's see. Gut shots, like what we're going to, what we're going to talk about here very shortly. Gut shots are phenomenal. Gut shots are really good for, the body. Different things inside those have probiotics. Bone broth, an organic bone broth is phenomenal. It helps, it's got collagen, helps rebuild the body. Turmeric is really good. It's actually in our gut shot that we're going to do here in just a few minutes. Very, very good for the body. Helps with inflammation, helps rebuild the gut. And collagen. Collagen is the most, abundant protein in your body. Pretty much every cell of the body has to have collagen. So collagen is vitally important, for good gut health. These are all things that you can do and incorporate into your diet today, for good health. So, all right. So next slide. All right, guys. So we're going to do the detox shot here. We're going to talk about the detox shot, and we're going to talk about, why this is actually can, be beneficial for your gut health. What we want to do is, Jacqueline, are you and I are we supposed to do something, or do I need to go over this particular?
I think we're going to do it together, Josh.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm
perfect.
excited about it.
That sounds phenomenal. That sounds phenomenal.
I have all my ingredients.
Good. Good. Going to be phenomenal. So I do want to mention a couple things first. I do want to just talk about a couple things as far as the thing. So the lemon is really good for the gut. It's very alkaline for the gut. It's super good for the gut. Ginger root. You can do ginger. Exactly. Yep. You can basically take your ginger, you can do it in powder or you can juice some ginger. The fresh juice ginger is way spicier. So be careful, with the fresh juice ginger. It can be really spicy, but it's not going to hurt you, but it's very spicy. It's very, it's very invigorating. So it's very good for inflammation in the body and helping everything in the body. The vitamin C powder is good for everything. It's good for collagen production. Vitamin C, everybody knows about vitamin C. I know you guys were talking about that in your skincare products. Vitamin C is vital for the body. The coconut water has got a lot of different, electrical minerals in it, and electrical minerals are phenomenal for the body. The cayenne pepper. Here's the trick though. This could be a little bit spicy. This could be a little bit spicy for everybody at first. So don't, if it's too spicy for you, you can add a little bit of honey to kind of, to take it down a little bit. But just a pinch now. Just start out with a pinch because, like I say, it's a little bit spicy. A little goes a long way. Cayenne pepper is great for blood pressure. It's great for a lot of different things in the body. Black pepper is really good for the body, but it's really good to help make turmeric bioavailable. Turmeric root itself is not necessarily available for the body, so that's why the black pepper is in there. It helps you absorb that just a little bit better. So, if you're ready, we'll take this thing and we'll make this little shot for us.
Oh, I am ready.
So, what you want to do is this right here. Here's the easiest way. Basically, what we want to do is we want to take our coconut water, and first, I've got my little glass here. We're going to take our coconut water and we're going to pour it in our glass.
Okay, wait, I
Yep.
got it. I got mine.
Yep, and it doesn't have to be a certain amount. It can be just a little bit, or it can be a lot. That's the cool thing with this. It doesn't have to be necessarily a shot. If you want to sip on it, and you want to make a big glass of it and drink on it, perfectly fine. Okay. So we got that. So now we got our coconut water. Now we're going to take our lemon juice next, and we're going to pour our lemon juice inside.
And everybody, you have your recipe as well. So if you aren't able to follow along now, you can do one of these. Do you suggest it's in the morning or the evening, Josh?
So for me personally, I like to take mine first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Now, if everybody's a little different, everybody's stomach's in a little different shape. So if it's a little too spicy for you, you may want to wait till you eat some food, and that's perfectly okay. But, I like it on an empty stomach myself personally.
All right. I
first
added my lemon.
All right, great. All right, so now I've got all of my ingredients, all my dry ingredients, my vitamin C, my ginger powder, my cayenne, black pepper, and turmeric. I've already got it in my little bowl, and I'm just going to dump it inside.
Oh, you're smarter than me, Josh.
Well,
I got different bowls.
I've been doing this a long time. I like simple. I like simple.
All right, Josh, I'm catching up. I'm learning, Josh. I'm learning.
You're gonna get it. It's simple. Once you do these things a couple of times, you're gonna do it. You're doing great though. And then what you're gonna want to do is the ginger can be a little bit clumpy sometimes. So sometimes it may be easier to take like a mason jar that's got a lid and basically shake it. That way you don't have to stir it, because sometimes stirring doesn't get all the clumps out, but most of the time it will. Most of the time it'll be perfectly fine, and then you'll just take it and just stir it up for a couple of for 10 or 15 seconds. Make sure you get all the vitamin C, in there. Make sure you get everything done. Get everything in there dissolved really good.
All right, I got a mason jar, so
perfect. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely wonderful. That's the exact color that you want, so that's exactly it. Yep, that looks like it. That's it. That's right there. So I've got mine as well. You can't see because of my filter there, but I've got mine made as well. And typically, like I say, what you can do is, typically I like to down it and just get it down and just drink it, in one big gulp. Or if it takes two, that's perfectly okay, but basically, that's it. And then just cheers, my friend.
Cheers. I'm not food adventurous, so we'll see, Josh. Actually, it's really delicious.
It is good. And here's the cool thing. It is a little spicy. It does have a little kick to it at the end. So if that's too spicy for you, just make sure your pinch, you can go a little bit smaller on your next time with a little bit of a smaller pinch, or you can take out the cayenne altogether if you're just completely against it.
No, I like it spicy. So here is the recipe for the shot. I have to tell you, I was going to fake this part, Josh. It's like, I'm gonna take this. I don't know if I'm gonna drink it, but it actually is really delicious. I would do this every morning.
Yes, it's really good. And the cool thing is, it's really good for your gut microbiome. Everything that we got listed here is really good for the gut. Like it does something for the gut. It either reduces inflammation or it helps, collagen production, or, it's got good minerals that the gut needs, for good gut health, and it's got some detoxing, properties. Cayenne pepper, super good at detoxing. So, same way with turmeric. So, it's a phenomenal thing for good gut health. Absolutely.
So I have a couple of questions because I want to
Sure.
be smart like you. Could I make up like a batch of the dry ingredients and then just like dump it in the water in the morning or?
100%. Yes, 100%. If you want to make this ahead of time and you want to make like me, like I like, if you want to make a big jar of it and just pour some out, absolutely. Yes, you can 100% do that.
All right. And then we have a question if you
Okay.
are able to use orange juice instead of the coconut water.
Yeah, absolutely. You can, coconut water is my favorite, but you can use any kind of good juice that you want to use. It doesn't really necessarily matter. I like coconut water just because of the health benefits, but if you want to use a little bit of orange juice, 100% perfectly fine.
And then if you wanted to add something like an olive oil or something like that, would that be beneficial? And could you do that?
So yes, you can do that, and a lot of people will take olive oil and they'll take lemon juice and they'll take cayenne pepper and make a kind of a shot. It's really good for detoxing the liver. So the liver is actually technically part of the gut, but yes. So as far as that goes, that it has different benefits, but yes, it's good as well. Olive oil, top notch as far as oils go and stuff like that. So yes, it's good for gut health too.
And is there another pepper you could use to replace the cayenne, or does it need to be?
Well, the cayenne pepper is actually kind of very specific because it does a lot of things for the body. It is a little bit spicier, so it's a little bit, different. But, if you don't like it, you can take it out completely. But the cayenne pepper, it does have its specific benefits as far as like blood pressure and detoxing and stuff like that. And it actually, even though it may be a little warm inside the gut, it's actually really healing for the gut. I know it seems odd because it's spicy, but it is really healing for the gut.
This is maybe my favorite thing almost that I had to drink today.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad you like it.
I, all right. Do we have time for any questions, or do we have any questions, or do we need to go into our giveaway? Okay, so we do need to go into our giveaway, and Josh has a really nice giveaway. He has the Gut Health ebook and a free consultation. So I might like be in the background of your consultation. You got so I just want to say your comments are amazing. Everybody enjoyed your session
Thank you.
so much. So I'm so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. And drumroll, Melanie Howe, you have won a free consultation and the gut health ebook from Josh. And of course, we are going to give away our image 3 as well. And Andrika Cooper, you are the winner of that. Josh, this was amazing. I learned so much. Make sure that you guys are all following him on social media and make your detox shot. It was delicious. I am pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Josh, and have an amazing day.
Thank you, guys.